I'm Sweetpea Hoover, and welcome to Backyard Basics. Today we're going to take a glance at weeds. It's been said they are simply wildflowers that are misunderstood, but I'm going to take it a step further and try to show you that nature's trying to tell you something about the soil that you've got. Nature by nature doesn't like bare spots. It's going to try to fill it in with something. So it's then your job to tell it how much and where you would like it to be. I'd like to start with the theory about the healthy blade of grass. If you have a well-balanced lawn, it can outcompete any weed that's trying to go through it. But because we were part of the weather restrictions, the watering restrictions, and the drought last season, we're having a lot of issues with bare spots this season. I'd like you to start to take a look at some of the broadleaf weeds that I found in just some samples. First one I'd like to look at is the henbit. Many people see this. It has a square stem. It's in the mint family, and it's known by its purple and pink tubular flowers that usually adorn all of our lawns in spring. That's not necessarily a good thing. It has 200 seeds per plant. The good news is it's shallow rooted, and with just a little tugging, that is the sophisticated root system involved. Kids have a really good success with pulling these out, so I say busy hands are happy hands. Let's get our future gardeners out there. Let's move on to our next weed, which is black medic. In the clover family, most people note this by the small yellow flower that appears in spring. It has some positive benefits that it's re-entering nitrogen, just the same way that you'd be entering a cover crop like the red clover as our winter cover crops. It's trying to do the same thing. Nature's trying to put the balance of nitrogen back into our soil. However, it is so compact in the middle, and this mini taproot a little struggle to get out. However, when you do, you can see that this sometimes stretches between 6 and 26 inches. Let's see if we can get one of those nodes. There'd be a nitrogen node right there. Trying to get that back in the soil and give you balance. But if we don't get it out in time, it's going to suffocate and not let our turf come back through it. So the important thing is to, by the time you're treating your lawn and getting a fertilizer in, that we've gotten these compact and suffocating weeds out. I also want to move to look at our next weed, which is the sow thistle, also related to the dandelion. The sow thistle can be one that you'd be able to get with a lawnmower if you haven't had time to get down to the taproot. It is deeply rooted, and you would need a tool to get that out. The difference between a dandelion and the sow thistle is that it has several blooms on it. That means several seed pockets that will be floating in the air and replacing itself in the soil. The point I would love to get across is the most natural method of getting rid of weeds in your garden is to break the seed cycle. Another thing I'd like to say is when we get these weeds out, what do we do with them then? Can they just go into my compost? Well, the point being, if we have an immature seed head, and that means it hasn't had its flower to seed process yet, you can put that into your compost. But my recommendation would be have a 24-hour to 48-hour period where it's not in and can break down. Ideally, it would be sun baking would be a great time to get it out there. Not ideal for this week in Austin. But if it has a mature seed head, I would love to tell you that you could put that in your compost. However, I don't think you can get the heat that would need to break that down, that it wouldn't be able to reproduce. So I hate to tell you, you're going to have to throw those out. Well, I've been Sweetpea Hoover for Backyard Basics. Thank you for joining me. Remember, busy hands are happy hands, so get out there, and this is a great way to spend time in your garden.